Imagine trusting someone so much. You invite them into your family's home for the holidays, someone you call your best friend, someone who knows your deepest secrets. But what if that same friend was hiding something horrible, something dark enough to destroy your life forever? In October 2019, Alexis Crawford, a happy 21-year-old student at Clark Atlanta University, was getting ready to graduate. She was excited about the future, working hard in school, and had big dreams. Alexis grew up in Athens, Georgia, in a big, loving family. She had 5 brothers and 4 sisters, and they were all very close. Her father, Bobby, worked in law enforcement, and Alexis admired him deeply. Inspired by her dad, Alexis chose to study criminal justice. She dreamed of making a difference, helping others, and bringing positive change to people's lives. Alexis lived off campus in an apartment with her roommate, Jordan Jones, who quickly became more than just a roommate. She was Alexis's closest friend. They did almost everything together and were described as 2 peas in a pod. Jordan even spent holidays like Thanksgiving and Easter with Alexis's family. It seemed like the perfect friendship, one built on trust, laughter, and shared dreams. But everything changed in just one night. On October 30th, Alexis spoke with her mom, Tammy, and sister Monica through FaceTime. Everything seemed normal. Alexis was smiling, joking around, and asked her sister to send her some money through Cash App. Later that night, her other sister, Alexandria, texted to ask what Alexis's plans were for the weekend. It was homecoming, a time for parties and fun across campus. Strangely, Alexis replied simply, "Nothing," which wasn't like her at all. Just after 3 a.m., she posted something on Instagram and replied to a message. After that, silence. When the sun rose the next day, Alexis didn't answer her phone. Her family, who spoke with her every day, started getting worried. By November 1st, Alexis didn't show up to class or her job, something completely out of character. Her phone kept going straight to voicemail. Fear took hold of her family, and they quickly reported her missing. As police started their investigation, questions began to swirl. What happened to Alexis Crawford? How could a beloved student with no enemies simply disappear overnight? As detectives began to piece together the last moments Alexis was seen, shocking truths came out. Truths that no one saw coming, especially from someone Alexis trusted the most. This story is one that shook not only Atlanta, but captured national attention, making people wonder just how much they could trust the people closest to them. Before we jump deeper into this heartbreaking story, take a quick second to check if you're subscribed. If you're not, hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. You won't want to miss what happens next. Police quickly started searching for Alexis, desperate for clues about where she might be. Jordan Jones, her roommate, was the last known person to see Alexis. Jordan said she drove Alexis to a liquor store near their apartment around 11:30 p.m. on October 30th. Surveillance video from that store confirmed Jordan's story. Cameras showed Alexis smiling and chatting, completely unaware that these images would become the last moments captured of her alive. After the trip to the store, Jordan claims she last saw Alexis around midnight before going to sleep. When Jordan woke up on Halloween morning, she noticed Alexis wasn't in the apartment. Alexis had recently started sleeping in the living room instead of her bedroom, but strangely, Jordan said there was no sign that Alexis had been there overnight. Alexis's phone, wallet, ID, and debit card were also missing, which at first made it seem like she might have just left on her own. But Alexis had never disappeared before. Her family said it wasn't like her at all, especially without telling anyone. Police carefully checked every lead. They looked into Alexis's phone records, social media, and asked friends if they had heard from her, but no one had. The only real clue they had was from that liquor store video. The campus and community quickly joined together to find Alexis. Friends, family, students, and even strangers shared her story online, hoping someone knew something. The hashtag #Let'sFindLex started trending, bringing more attention and urgency to her case. Volunteers searched wooded areas near her apartment, carefully combing through bushes, grass, and ditches, hoping to find any trace that Alexis was safe. Days passed without any new leads, making everyone fear the worst. Alexis's parents and family came together at Clark Atlanta University, joined by students, friends, and campus leaders. They held hands and prayed deeply for Alexis's safe return. Her father, Bobby, spoke directly from his heart to Alexis, begging her to come home safely. He promised he wouldn't leave Atlanta until she was found. It was clear that the entire community was deeply worried, and everyone was desperate for answers. While hope was fading, police continued to investigate every possible angle. They called hospitals, thinking maybe Alexis had checked in under a different name. But nothing turned up. Police then learned something disturbing, something Alexis had been through just days before her disappearance. On October 27th, Alexis had gone to the hospital to report something terrifying. She told police that Jordan's boyfriend, Baron Brantley, had assaulted her in her apartment after they had been drinking together. Alexis said Baron tried to kiss her, and when she rejected him, he followed her into her bedroom. Feeling unsafe, she locked herself in the bathroom. Alexis couldn't remember what happened after that. She blacked out. When she woke up, her clothes were torn, and she realized something horrible had happened. Jordan called 911, but shockingly, not to report what happened to Alexis. Instead, she reported that Baron had stolen her car and driven off. Alexis went to Grady Hospital to have an exam done, which proved Baron had assaulted her. Terrified, Alexis no longer felt safe sleeping in her bedroom, so she began sleeping on the couch. She didn't know Baron was secretly staying in Jordan's room, just steps away. Jordan admitted to police that after the attack, she and Alexis stopped speaking, making the apartment tense and uncomfortable. When police learned about the assault, they quickly returned to question Jordan and Baron again. They knew something wasn't adding up. As they dug deeper, Jordan finally cracked under pressure. Jordan led police to a wooded park about 11 miles away. Everyone held their breath, praying the search wouldn't end in tragedy. But sadly it did. On November 8th, exactly 1 week after Alexis had been reported missing, her body was found in Exchange Park in Decatur, hidden in the woods. Alexis had been betrayed in the cruelest way possible. Now, police had to figure out how and why this could have happened, especially when Jordan appeared to be deeply involved. When police found Alexis in Exchange Park, the community was heartbroken. Investigators now had one goal: figuring out who was behind this terrible act and why. They carefully searched the apartment Alexis shared with Jordan for more clues. What they found told a chilling story. Inside the apartment, police discovered clear evidence that someone had tried to hide what had happened. Detectives used special spray and uncovered traces of blood in several areas of the living room. Even though it had been cleaned up, the blood still revealed something violent had happened there. Police also checked security camera videos from the apartment parking garage. What they saw next confirmed their worst fears. At around 3 a.m., cameras showed Jordan and Baron driving Jordan's car close to the apartment entrance. Police believe this was the moment Alexis's body was put into the vehicle. The evidence was becoming clearer and pointed directly to Jordan and Baron as the people responsible. Police immediately took both of them into custody. At first, Jordan had pretended to be worried about Alexis, even posting messages online asking people to help find her best friend. But behind closed doors, the reality was different. Investigators soon discovered that after Alexis was gone, Jordan had messaged another friend asking to borrow a large bin, the same type they found Alexis's body in. When questioned, Jordan and Baron finally began admitting what had happened that tragic night. They revealed that Alexis and Jordan got into a heated argument, which quickly turned physical. As the two girls fought, Baron stepped in to help Jordan, turning it into a 2-against-1 attack. In the chaos, Baron admitted he began choking Alexis. At the same time, Jordan took a plastic bag and placed it over Alexis's head. Alexis tried to fight back, struggling to breathe, but eventually, the two overpowered her. After Alexis stopped breathing, Jordan and Baron tried desperately to hide their crime. They carefully cleaned the apartment, hoping to erase every trace of evidence. Then they put Alexis's body into the plastic bin, loaded it into the car, and drove her to Exchange Park, where they hid her among trees and bushes. Shockingly, only hours later, both Jordan and Baron went out to a Halloween party, acting as if nothing had happened. Jordan even continued sending messages to Alexis's phone, pretending to worry about her safety, even though she knew exactly what had occurred. Police struggled to understand why Jordan and Baron would do something so cruel to Alexis. Many suspected Alexis's earlier report against Baron may have triggered the fight, but detectives could never fully confirm this. News of Jordan's betrayal quickly spread, leaving students at Clark Atlanta University stunned and shaken. Alexis's classmates couldn't understand how someone so trusted could do something so horrible. The student body president said students felt heartbroken, not only because they lost Alexis, but because two of their own classmates were responsible. Many students began wondering who they could trust and how safe they really were, even around close friends. As Jordan and Barron were formally charged, the community demanded justice. Alexis's family, still grieving deeply, called for the harshest punishments possible. They felt completely betrayed by someone they had once treated as family. Both Jordan and Barron claimed innocence when brought to court, each blaming the other, and they asked for separate trials. Alexis's family watched in disbelief, facing the harsh reality that justice would be slow, complicated, and painful. The tragic truth about Alexis Crawford's final moments brought sadness, anger, and confusion to everyone who knew her. Alexis trusted Jordan with her life, only to be betrayed in the worst possible way. Now, everyone wondered, could justice truly ever be served? As Jordan and Barron sat behind bars, Alexis's family hoped the court system would move swiftly, but months turned into years, and the wheels of justice slowed to a painful crawl. Every delay felt like another heartbreak for Alexis's family, who only wanted answers and closure. Both Jordan and Barron pleaded not guilty, claiming innocence and trying to avoid responsibility. Their attorneys fought aggressively, challenging every piece of evidence the police presented. Barron's lawyer argued his initial statement to police wasn't reliable because he had been under the influence at the time. Eventually, the judge agreed, ruling Barron's confession couldn't be used as evidence during the trial. This decision shocked everyone, including Alexis's family, who saw it as a devastating blow. But that wasn't the only setback. Soon after, Barron's lawyers requested the court consider letting him out on bail. Alexis's family was horrified at the thought. Alexis's mother, Tammy, wrote a letter begging the judge not to let him out, saying it would disrespect Alexis's memory and cause unbearable pain for her family. The thought of Barron walking free, even temporarily, made Alexis's family feel helpless and angry. At a court hearing, prosecutors revealed troubling messages that Jordan sent after Alexis was gone. They showed Jordan had asked Barron, through social media, to delete security camera videos from the apartment building. Prosecutors argued Jordan knew exactly what she was doing and actively tried to cover up their crime. Jordan's lawyers countered by highlighting her previous clean record, claiming she wasn't a threat. But the judge disagreed, deciding Jordan was too likely to run away or influence witnesses if released. Jordan had even withdrawn from school right after Alexis disappeared, making her intentions clear. With both defendants locked up, Alexis's family continued waiting for the trial to finally start. But more setbacks kept coming. Barron's defense team asked the Georgia Supreme Court to block prosecutors from using jailhouse phone calls, where Barron allegedly made incriminating statements. Lawyers argued those calls violated Barron's rights. The Supreme Court agreed to review this, further pushing back the trial. Prosecutors also faced a hard task proving motive. Although Alexis's previous report against Barron was a strong clue, they had to be careful with how they used that information in court. The judge finally allowed prosecutors to present statements Alexis made to friends about what Barron did to her. But they had to tread carefully, knowing the defense would fight hard to discredit those accounts. Meanwhile, the delays took a heavy emotional toll on Alexis's family. Her parents publicly pleaded for faster progress, but the courts continued to move slowly. Alexis's family felt trapped, unable to fully mourn or move forward until justice was served. The campus community at Clark Atlanta University also waited anxiously. Many students felt uneasy, wondering why the justice system seemed to favor defendants instead of protecting victims like Alexis. By early 2025, more than 5 years after Alexis's life was taken, the case remained stuck. Jordan and Barron's trials were still waiting to begin. Alexis's family often expressed frustration and sadness, describing the delay as unbearable. The family's spokesperson, Reverend Hutchins, described the crime as pure evil, making clear how deeply the tragedy continued to hurt Alexis's loved ones. The community's patience was running thin. People across Atlanta wondered why such a high-profile case, one that captured nationwide attention, remained unresolved. Local leaders started raising concerns about the speed of justice, asking why the court seemed unable to provide Alexis's family with peace. The repeated setbacks also sparked discussions about campus safety. Students at Clark Atlanta University and other campuses nationwide began openly talking about trust, friendship, and how to protect themselves. Alexis's tragic story became a powerful reminder of how easily trust could be broken, and how dangerous even close friendships could become if warning signs went unnoticed. Yet, even with delays, Alexis's family refused to lose hope. They continued pushing for justice, attending every hearing and court appearance. Alexis's father, Bobby, often spoke emotionally about his daughter, reminding everyone to cherish and listen to their loved ones, especially their children. Tammy Crawford said clearly that nothing would ever truly heal the wound left by losing Alexis. But justice, holding Jordan and Barron fully accountable, could offer some peace and security for her grieving family. For Alexis's family, justice was more than just punishment. It was a chance for healing, a chance to remember Alexis as the strong, joyful, and inspiring person she was, not as a victim. As the case remained unresolved, the community continued to ask tough questions. Would justice ever truly come for Alexis Crawford? Or would endless delays let her down again? At Clark Atlanta University, students struggled deeply with the loss of Alexis Crawford. What happened didn't just affect her family, it impacted an entire college community. Everyone on campus felt less safe. Many students began questioning their own friendships and looking closely at who they trusted. Campus leaders quickly stepped in, offering counseling and emotional support. They encouraged students to talk openly about their feelings and fears. Yet, despite the support, an uneasy feeling settled across campus. Students who had never worried about their safety before suddenly felt nervous walking home at night, or trusting friends the way they used to. Many students said their parents also felt scared for them, constantly checking in to make sure they were safe. Alexis's story caused families everywhere to have tough conversations about safety, trust, and friendship. Students began to carefully reconsider who they spent time with, knowing how quickly trust could be broken, even by someone close. The university's president, George French, wrote a heartfelt letter to the community. He assured students and families that this was an isolated incident, but promised to increase efforts to keep everyone safe. The school became more focused on improving safety awareness, making sure students knew who to contact if they ever felt in danger or uncomfortable. At Alexis's funeral, hundreds gathered, students, teachers, family, and community members, coming together to honor her memory. Many described Alexis as bright, joyful, and driven. Her friends spoke about how she inspired them, and professors remembered her determination to make a difference. Although the ceremony was full of sadness, it also celebrated who Alexis was, someone who deeply cared about others. Even beyond the university, Alexis's story changed how people viewed friendships and personal safety. On social media, students nationwide shared Alexis's story as a reminder to always pay attention to warning signs, even from friends. Alexis's tragedy became a powerful lesson about trust and the importance of speaking up if something feels wrong or unsafe. Alexis's father, Bobby, encouraged parents everywhere to talk openly with their children, reminding them to always pay attention, listen closely, and never dismiss concerns, no matter how small they seem. Alexis's sister, Alexandria, spoke about keeping Alexis's legacy alive by standing up for others, speaking out about safety, and being brave enough to confront difficult situations. Meanwhile, the legal battle continued quietly in the background, with many students frustrated by the slow pace of justice. The delays felt personal, leaving students unsettled and questioning if true justice was even possible. Many feared that without a resolution, Alexis's memory would slowly fade from public attention. Campus activists urged continued pressure on the justice system, determined to keep Alexis's story in the spotlight until justice finally arrived. Alexis's case also led many universities to review campus safety measures. Schools across the country began holding safety workshops, teaching students how to identify and address dangerous situations, especially within their closest relationships. Students learned about healthy friendships, the importance of trust, and how to safely handle conflict. Alexis's tragedy made clear that personal safety wasn't just about protecting yourself from strangers, it also meant being aware of the people you trust most. Local leaders and community advocates used Alexis's story to highlight how easily dangerous situations could go unnoticed or unreported, especially among friends or roommates. They emphasized the need for stronger support systems, urging students not to stay silent if they felt threatened or uncomfortable. Alexis became a symbol of strength, courage, and awareness, pushing communities to do better at protecting each other. As more time passed, students at Clark Atlanta University made efforts to honor Alexis's memory, ensuring she wouldn't be forgotten. They organized memorial events, created scholarships in her name, and made sure new students knew her story, reminding them that safety is everyone's responsibility. As students returned to campus each semester, Alexis's memory remained a powerful reminder. Friendships are valuable, but trust should always be carefully considered. Alexis's story, while deeply tragic, became a lasting lesson on campuses everywhere. It reminded everyone how precious life is, and how quickly it can change when trust is broken. More than 5 years after Alexis lost her life, her family continues waiting patiently for justice. Court dates keep getting moved, trials postponed, and every day without closure deepens the family's pain. Yet, Alexis's loved ones have never stopped hoping the system will finally bring them peace. The Georgia Supreme Court now had to make the difficult decision about whether this evidence would ever reach a jury. For Alexis's family, each court delay was painful. Tammy Crawford continued to publicly express how exhausting the wait was for their family, calling the slow legal process almost unbearable. She worried that every delay weakened the case against Jordan and Barron, making it harder for the truth to fully come out. The community also grew restless. Public interest in Alexis's case had initially been strong, but over the years, attention slowly faded as other stories took priority. Alexis's family worked hard to keep her story alive, believing public pressure might help speed up the legal process. Yet, despite their efforts, the courts moved at their own slow pace. In March 2025, Barron's lawyers tried once again to request he be allowed out of jail temporarily. Alexis's family immediately spoke out against this, terrified that releasing him would show a lack of respect for Alexis's memory. Public opinion strongly agreed, with community leaders and many residents expressing outrage over the idea. Alexis's parents described it as a slap in the face, letting someone who had caused so much harm walk freely, even briefly. Meanwhile, Jordan's defense team argued she deserved special treatment because she had cooperated with police early on. Prosecutors fought back, highlighting evidence of Jordan's attempts to cover up the crime by messaging Barron to remove important surveillance videos. Ultimately, the judge ruled that Jordan remained too risky to release, especially because of previous attempts to contact potential witnesses. Throughout this long wait, Alexis's family received constant support from community members and leaders who attended hearings, held vigils, and shared Alexis's story online. Community advocates pushed for greater accountability in the legal system, reminding everyone how important justice was, not just for Alexis, but for every victim waiting for their day in court. Students at Clark Atlanta University stayed closely connected with Alexis's family, regularly showing support by holding memorials and events in her honor. Each event kept Alexis's memory strong and reminded everyone that the fight for justice wasn't over. Students repeatedly spoke about the importance of patience and persistence, determined never to let Alexis be forgotten. As the family waited, they began sharing Alexis's story even more openly, speaking to students nationwide about the importance of personal safety, awareness, and trusting your instincts. Their goal was clear: to prevent similar tragedies from happening again by raising awareness and encouraging people to speak out early if they feel unsafe. Alexis's family, though exhausted from the constant delays, continued demanding accountability, speaking publicly to remind everyone involved that justice delayed was justice denied. They spoke directly to lawmakers and judges, urging them to understand the emotional toll their delays created. Each appearance in court felt like reopening old wounds, forcing the family to relive their heartbreak again and again. Yet, despite setbacks, Alexis's family remained determined. Tammy Crawford spoke openly about the strength she found in Alexis's memory, saying her daughter's spirit pushed them to keep fighting, even when the battle felt impossible. Bobby, Alexis's father, reminded everyone that no matter how long it took, they would remain firm in their demands for justice and accountability. Now, As Alexis's family waits for a final outcome, her story continues touching hearts and changing lives. Alexis is remembered not only for the tragedy, but also for the strength and courage she inspires. Her life has sparked important conversations about trust, friendship, safety, and the urgent need for justice reform. As we close Alexis's story today, remember to always pay attention, trust your instincts, and never ignore warning signs, even from people you think you know best. If you found Alexis's story impactful, please take a moment to like, share, and comment below. Tell us, what do you think could have been done differently to prevent tragedies like this? And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Thank you for joining us today. Stay safe and always take care of each other.